Hey everybody, back for another video. Going to be doing baby back ribs today. We've got two nice racks of ribs here that we're going to get on the smoker. First we got to season them, and I'll show you how to do that. We're going to do the 3-2-1 method today, so I'll walk you through that process, and you'll have really tender, flavorful ribs at the end of it. Anybody can follow this process. It's very simple. Ribs are usually something that people, think are like this mystery. They're really not hard to cook as long as you learn the right method. So check it out. Okay, first step, we got to make sure that we trim these. They're pretty well trimmed. I mean, anything like this you wouldn't touch. You're not going to touch this. But we do have a little bit of fat kind of hanging off here to the side. We're just going to take that off. Now, we don't want to cut into the meat, but we want to make sure that we get rid of this excess fat, because that'd be a big bite of glop for somebody when they're eating their rib. So we don't really have to go too deep between the bones here, so that's actually pretty good. We're just going to take this little piece off here. Like I said, these are fairly well trimmed, so nothing too serious. A little chunk of fat here we're just going to shave off. But you do this, so that you don't have your guests eating fat. They want to eat the ribs. Now there's plenty of fat in the middle here. You don't have to worry about these being dry or anything like that. So that's really it. Not much to it. Some racks are fattier than others. This one's not bad at all, and so pretty easy. Trim, and then we're gonna get these seasoned here in just a second. One thing we need to do before we get these seasoned is we want to try to take off this skin here on the back. It can be kind of a pain in the butt. If you can't get the skin off, you can just leave it. It's really not going to hurt much. When you actually get ready to go serve these, it'll be real crispy, and you can kind of just pull it away for your guests. That way you don't have to worry about it. I usually just leave it on there, but I'm going to attempt to take it off today. So you want to get a paper towel and start at one end, and you can kind of sometimes have a little bit of fat pulled up here, or you'll have, like, you see that little flap there? You can usually get that started. Sometimes you need a spoon or a knife or something dull, a dull knife, to slide under there. I'm just using my fingernail. I'm getting just a little bit of separation here. So then I'm gonna grab it with this paper towel. This paper towel gives you a little bit more traction than you got with your bare hands, and start bringing it up a little bit. See how it's starting to lift away? It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. That's why sometimes I just leave it. But this one's coming away. See how it's lifting up? Just keep pulling. See, I got part of it. So once you get it started, it'll pull away. So I'll at least have part of this one without the skin. I'm going to try to get this right here. See if I can get the rest of it. And I got another small strip, about half. So we're going to try from the other end. There we go. Now, grab it with my paper towel, give me a little bit more traction, and then I'm going to come towards the other side. And there we go. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and season our ribs now. I'm going to use some mustard. You don't have to. I like to, though, because it acts as kind of like a binding agent for our rub to stick on here. So we're just going to put a little on. Some barbecue shows you'll watch will make fun of this. Some barbecue pros swear by it. We're just putting a little bit on there. It's just going to help our rub stick. People say, the vinegar in it helps, but with the cooking process and making it more tender, I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but I do think it helps my rub stick a little bit better and create a little bit better bark. So we're going to get a little bit more on this guy here. Just a tad up here. Just a nice even coat. It's not rocket science, just get it on there. Alright, we're ready to start seasoning. We're going to use my favorite seasoning. I call it Pickle Spice. It's from Pickle's Place out in Idaho. Have some family there. Ran across it probably, gosh, 15 years ago. It's like my Frank's Red Hot. I put it on everything. So we're going to give this a light rub with this though, because it does have a fair amount of salt in it. And you do not want your ribs to come out way too salty. But this gives a great flavor, gives a great bark. It's not a traditional rib rub. You can use whatever you want. There's plenty at the store that I've used before. I just prefer this. If you want to buy this seasoning, you got to give them a call. I think they might have a website now, but just a little restaurant out in Idaho. But it's a great seasoning, really good for steaks, chicken, shrimp, anything you want to use it on. Okay. Got the smoker rolling. Got some cherry and some hickory mix in there. And we're going to get these racks of ribs on. There's one. And get this second one on here. Okay. So we're going to let those sit and cook for a bit. So we got our ribs in the smoker. So these are baby back ribs that we're doing with the 3-2-1 method. Some people like a 2-2-1 method, but I'll explain what that is. So 3 hours in the smoker, 2 hours foiled and wrapped up just like we did with the brisket video, with a little bit of apple juice inside to braise them, break down all of that fat and collagen so that you get a really tender rib. Then we're going to take them back out of the foil and put them on a baking pan and put them back in the oven with a basting of barbecue sauce. And what that does is when you take them out of the braising liquid, they can be a little too soft. And so putting them back in the oven unfoiled will allow them to firm up a little bit so that when you pick them up, the bones don't just fall out of the ribs, but they'll still come off of the bone tender when you bite them. So it's a little trick to make it where you have super tender ribs, but they don't absolutely fall apart on you. The reason I say some people use a 2-2-1 method is 2 hours in the smoker, 2 hours braised, and then 1 hour back in the oven or the smoker, whatever you want to do, unfoiled. That's because baby backs cook a little quicker than spare ribs or a St. Louis cut. But I keep my smoker down around 225 the entire time when I'm smoking them to keep that temperature down so that I can get as much smoke flavor on them as I can. That's why I like the 3-2-1 for baby backs. It's your personal preference, whatever you want to do. Experiment with it, but 3-2-1's been good to me, and I recommend you give it a try. Okay, 3 hours has gone by, so now we're gonna take these guys out and foil them. They are looking good. Good color. You want that mahogany color on them. That's beautiful. It's got plenty of smoke. Pretty ribs right there. Alright, now we're going to take those in there and get them foiled. Alright, so we're going to put in a half a cup of apple juice into each one of these little tinfoil boats here. You can use any apple juice that you want. Doesn't really matter. So we got that in there. Then we're going to use a little bit of the Parquet squeeze butter. Saw this one time on a barbecue show, tried it, and I really liked how the ribs turned out. Just gives it a little bit more moisture to be able to, the ribs to absorb and give a better, richer flavor. So we're just going to foil these up and get them closed and back into these basted. I've got Stubbs. This is original. I've got the spicy in this bowl here as well. So we're going to do 1 rack spicy, 1 rack regular. So you can just use a spoon. You want to get this to room temperature. So this is the end of this bottle. I don't have a whole lot left. So you can just pour some out here. It comes out quick though, so you got to be careful. And then we're just going to spread that around. So you can do more than one coat if you want. So we'll do this one, and you can take it out, coat it again. You can get as caramelized as you want. I usually do about 2 coats though. I don't want a super saucy rib because I still want to be able to taste the meat, because that's the whole point of cooking this all day. But I do like a little bit of the tang that just adds to the flavor of the whole thing. So over there, you can use a basting brush too. Since I've got this in the bowl, that's what I'm going to do real quick for the spicy. Okay, so now we're going to pop that right back in the oven, and we'll be about 1 more hour and we'll be ready to get these out. They've been in for 30 minutes, so we're going to do a second coating here of sauce. You can see they look beautiful. They're getting to where they're almost perfect. Just another 30 minutes after we apply this, and we're going to be eating. I've got some homegrown green beans over here next to me simmering away with some chicken stock, and we've got some potatoes in the oven as well to go with these ribs that are going to be really good. Alright, do a little bit of the spicy one on this. Looking good. Yeah, just a little tad bit more. Okay. Back in the oven they go. 30 more minutes. And here is the finished product. Man, those look good. Perfect mahogany red color. Obviously we got that from the smoke, but we've got the sauce on there with the rub and everything together. Those are some beautiful looking ribs. I'm going to cut into one here and give it a taste test just in a second once they cool off enough where I can eat one. Alright, take a look at those ribs there. Amazing looking ribs. Now the proof's in the pudding. Taste is awesome. Tenderness is amazing. Alright, that's enough. I'll see y'all later.